Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into a really fascinating project that's stirring up quite a bit of conversation. It sits right at that intersection of artificial intelligence and decentralized finance. We're talking about AIFEX. So our mission for this deep dive is, well, to cut through some of the noise. We've got sources here that lay out AIFEX's pretty bold vision, especially how it aims to be different in these, rapidly changing fields. We want to unpack its core ideas, take a look at its strategic position, and try to understand its potential, particularly if you're thinking like an investor. All without getting bogged down in overly technical stuff. What really makes this project stand out?
That's really the question, isn't it? And what's particularly striking about AIFEX, as our sources show, is this ambition they have. They want to fuse these quite distinct, powerful technologies, not just have them side by side, but integrate them into one single cohesive system. A lot of projects are good at one thing, maybe two, but this kind of comprehensive integration, bringing together a whole spectrum of capabilities, that's genuinely rare. It definitely suggests they're playing for a very unique spot in the market.
Okay, yeah, let's dive right into that integration then.
Sure.
Our sources immediately point to what they're calling AIFEX's three core technologies. Sounds like that's the real foundation of their vision. Not just, layering things on top, but a fundamental synergy.
Exactly. When you look at the material, it highlights these three pillars, and they're not just co-located, they're designed to be deeply interdependent. First, there's AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. Now, many of you know about specialized AI, great at specific tasks like recommending music or analyzing market trends. AIFEX, though, is aiming for general AI. That means a highly intelligent, self-learning system, one that can understand, adapt, and apply its intelligence across a whole range of complex problems, a bit more like human thinking. So this isn't just a tool in their system, it's positioned as a strategic decision maker.
Okay, so AGI is pillar one. What's next?
The second pillar is DeFi, decentralized finance. This is the world many listeners are probably already familiar with. Things like decentralized exchanges, lending, borrowing protocols, all running on blockchain, no traditional banks in the middle. It's about transparency, efficiency, peer-to-peer stuff. AIFEX sees this as the basic open playground for its AGI to operate in.
Right, the DeFi foundation. And the third?
And then the third pillar, HFT, high-frequency trading. This involves, incredibly rapid, sophisticated algorithmic trading, strategies executed in milliseconds. Now, combining HFT with a DeFi isn't totally new, but integrating that with a self-learning AGI at the very core, that's where AIFEX makes its unique claim. The source material really hammers this point home, this comprehensive, full-cycle integration of AGI, DeFi, and HFT. It's largely unmatched right now. It's a bold statement, for sure. And it raises that critical strategic question, what kind of new things can you actually do with this specific blend? What opportunities does it unlock?
So, just trying to picture that. You've got this super advanced, adaptable AI. It's not just giving advice. It's actively driving, executing, optimizing complex financial strategies. It is doing this in real time, within the open, transparent world of DeFi, but at the incredible speed of high-frequency trading.
That's a potent mix. It's ambitious, definitely. It sounds less like an upgrade and more like trying to rebuild the engine of digital finance.
Okay, so to really get why this fusion is potentially such a big deal, we need some context. How does it stack up against what's already out there? Our sources give a pretty smart breakdown of the competitive landscape. This helps see exactly where AIFEX is trying to, carve out its niche. If you're looking at this as an investor, this comparison is key.
Exactly right. When we place it against the competition, AIFEX's strategy gets much clearer. They're not just trying to be better in an existing category. They seem to be attempting to create a new one entirely, finding that white space by leveraging this integrated approach.
Okay, let's start with the big players then. The traditional DeFi platforms that really built this space, thinking Uniswap, Adoy, names everyone in crypto knows. What are their strengths, and where does AIFEX say we go beyond that?
Well, those traditional DeFi platforms are foundational. They're incredibly robust at their core functions. They absolutely excel at token swaps, lending, borrowing, liquidity pools. They are, the bedrock of DeFi as it exists today. However, the sources make a very clear distinction here. While they're powerful, they haven't integrated advanced AI, let alone AGI, as a core driving component. Their logic is based on smart contract rules, user decisions. AIFEX is arguing there's a gap there, a gap for a system that can actually adapt, learn, and strategize in real-time dynamically beyond just fixed protocols. So, yeah, traditional DeFi sets the current standard, but AIFEX is aiming for a future driven by these dynamic AGI adjustments.
Right. That distinction between having the tech versus being driven by AI, specifically AGI, seems critical. What about platforms that have started putting AI into DeFi? Our sources mention Veda as an example. They're using AI. So how is AIFEEX different from them?
Yeah, those platforms represent an important step, definitely. They use AI for specific valuable things, maybe optimizing yield farming, helping with portfolio management. They're using AI as a sophisticated tool. But the key difference, according to what we've read, is that the AI isn't AGI. It tends to be more specialized, maybe a supportive intelligence. It's not usually a complex, self-reasoning core that's independently formulating and executing the grand strategy. And on top of that, many of them lack that full integration of high-frequency trading capabilities that AIFEX is planning. So you could think of it as DeFi with AI assistance versus a system fundamentally driven by a comprehensive AGI that's seamlessly linked with HFT and other advanced modules.
Okay, this next comparison is really interesting, especially if you're looking at the broader tech landscape. What about companies that are giants in AI or algorithmic trading, but they operate outside of the main DeFi world? Names like NVIDIA, making the chips that power so much AI, or Numerai, known for its sophisticated financial data analysis using AI but more centralized. How does AIFEX position itself against them?
This comparison really highlights AIFEX's claimed strategic edge. NVIDIA and Numerai are, without doubt, powerhouses in their fields. NVIDIA provides the essential hardware. Numerai uses advanced AI for complex financial analysis, often in a centralized setup. They represent the cutting edge of AI and algo trading. But the fundamental difference, as our sources point out, is their architecture. These major players aren't typically building their systems on a fully decentralized, permissionless DeFi or Web3 foundation. AIFEX's bold claim, its strategic bet, is bringing that same level of cutting-edge AI, including AGI and HFT power, directly into the DeFi ecosystem, into that open, transparent environment. And this integration, the sources suggest, is what allows AIFEX to potentially create truly novel functionalities.
Like what exactly? Can you give us a clearer sense of what these novel functionalities might mean for someone using the platform or investing in it? The sources throughout terms like stacking come chain and TA. What are those about?
Good question. Those are specific proprietary terms from AIFEX itself, and the sources hint they're pretty significant. Stacking come chain, for instance. It seems to describe a highly optimized way to run complex arbitrage strategies, potentially across different chains within DeFi. Imagine an AI-driven process identifying tiny price differences on various decentralized exchanges or blockchains, then executing layered trades incredibly fast to capture that difference. The stacking suggests building complex multi-step transactions for maximum efficiency.
Okay, so advanced AI-driven arbitrage at speed.
And TOE, according to the materials, seems to be the name for AIFEX's proprietary AGI trading model. It's positioned as the brain of the system. While the exact details are naturally kept under wraps, the idea is that TOE is an autonomously learning AI. It develops and refines its own trading strategies, manages risk, makes decisions in real time within DeFi. It's not just following preset rules, it's meant to be dynamically learning from the market and constantly optimizing its approach. That's a big step beyond traditional algorithms. These are the kinds of specific innovations that supposedly become possible only when you truly fuse AGI, DeFi, and HFT together.
That definitely paints a clearer picture. It shows there's a specific strategic intent behind the buzzwords. Okay, one last comparison group. Our sources mention the rise of specialized AI agents in finance. They use FinRobots as an example. How do they fit in? Where does AIFEX stand relative to them?
Right. Projects like FinRobots show how AI is becoming more sophisticated in finance generally. Often, these are specialized analytical tools. They might use large language models or other AI techniques to process huge amounts of financial data, spot trends, generate insights. They're very valuable for analysis and supporting decisions. But the sources draw a line between them and AIFEX based on scope. These agents are typically designed for specific analytical tasks, or maybe as components within a larger system. They often assist human analysts or existing trading setups. AIFEX, in contrast, is envisioning this full integrated ecosystem, AGI plus DeFi plus HFT plus automated arbitrage. The AGI isn't just an assistant, it's meant to be the central, self-driving intelligence.
So putting it all together, looking at AIFEX versus traditional DeFi versus AI-enhanced DeFi versus the big centralized AI players versus specialized AI agents, the strategic message seems really clear. AIFEX isn't just trying to be another option. It's aiming to create a whole new category.
Precisely. The source material consistently comes back to that point. No other platform right now seems to be integrating AGI, DeFi, HFT, and sophisticated automated arbitrage using proprietary models like TAOs and methods like stacking cum chain, not all within a single unified system. AIFEEX's strategic positioning is clearly intended to be that of a fusion platform. The idea is to create value exponentially by bringing these powerful forces together, making them interconnected, not just using them in isolation. It really is a play for market transformation, not just participation.
And that's crucial, isn't it? It's not just about having cool tech. It's about aiming to create something genuinely new, something that could potentially reshape how digital finance works. For anyone looking at this from an investment perspective, that distinctiveness is where the potential for serious disruption lies, and therefore unique value. It feels like AIFEEX isn't just trying to build a faster horse, they're trying to invent the car, carving out their own blue ocean, so to speak. Now, this vision of AIFEEX, combining all these incredibly complex, powerful technologies into one seamless, high-performing system, it's undeniably compelling. It paints an exciting picture. But for you, our listener, especially if you're approaching this with an analytical or investment mindset, there's always that huge question that comes after the wow of the idea. It's the ultimate test, really.
And what's interesting is that the sources themselves explicitly bring this up. They acknowledge it as the ultimate challenge. It's not just about the brilliance of the vision, it's about the execution, which raises that critical question for any strategic observer. Can AIFEX actually do it? Can they develop, secure, and effectively integrate all these incredibly complex parts? The AGI, the DeFi protocols, the HFT engines, their own models. Can they make them work together reliably, securely, and deliver the kind of performance and returns they're aiming for?
Yeah, and that's not just one technical challenge. It feels like a monumental task on several fronts. You're talking about building a self-learning AGI that can operate safely and autonomously in a high-stakes financial environment. That alone is huge. Then there's ensuring the ultra-low latency needed for HFT works consistently on decentralized blockchains, which can have variable speeds. That's tough. Security, too, having an AGI directly controlling funds and trades. That opens up potential new risks, new end attack vectors, maybe unintended consequences. Huge security considerations. And just the operational side, maintaining, upgrading, adapting a system this complex. It's immense. So for investors, it's not just that they can build it, but can they run it sustainably and securely to actually deliver consistent value?
Absolutely. The theoretical synergy, the idea of it all working together, is incredibly powerful, as we've discussed. But translating that theory into a practical, resilient, profitable system, one that can handle market swings, technical glitches, maybe even regulatory changes down the line, that's where the real work lies. It demands not just top-tier technical skill, but also extremely rigorous risk management and a commitment to constant iteration and improvement.
And that brings us towards the end of our deep dive into AIFEX for today. We've explored its really groundbreaking vision. We've seen how it aims to stand out by fusing AGI, DeFi, and HFT in a unique way, positioning itself as a strategic innovator, potentially in a class of its own. It's definitely a thought-provoking concept for anyone watching the future of finance.
The core idea is clear. A unified system, driven by AGI, operating within DeFi's decentralized framework, and turbocharged by HFT and autonomous arbitrage. The ambition is undeniable. They're aiming to create a fundamentally new way of doing things in the market.
But as we leave you to think about it, that big question lingers, doesn't it? Will AIFEX manage to bridge that gap? The gap between this audacious, exciting vision and the complex reality of flawless, secure, and profitable execution. Can they overcome the massive technical and operational hurdles to truly reshape the digital financial world as they intend? The stakes are high, and for early investors, the potential rewards could be too.
It's certainly a project worth keeping a close eye on. It represents a fascinating real-world test for integrating AI and blockchain at this level. There are incredible opportunities there, but also clearly significant pioneering challenges ahead.
Keep digging, keep learning, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.